Hey, everybody, welcome to the Brady Bunch, it appears, because we have a packed house today to talk about Studio Ghibli. David here. Before we get started on Studio Ghibli, just want to remind everyone that we are in the midst of our Spring into Savings event available right now at bluefinbrands.com. We have just a ton of great deals, including some great Ghibli deals. If you go to bluefinbrands.com. We also have a lot from our buddies at Tamashii Nations and Flame Toys. Here you can see the Bug Bite model kit from Flame Toys. You know, we have the Manga Realization Wolverine, just an amazing reinterpretation of Wolverine if he was around in feudal Japan. Of course, we have the mighty Titanus, the Solo Chokugen from Power Rangers. This guy is going fast, so if you are interested in him, you should pick him up as soon as possible. And just to represent some of the bundles we have the Dragon Ball bundle here. You get 3 SH figure arts, you get Bulma, you get Piccolo, you get Tao Pai Pai, and you also get the amazing Proplica Dragon Raider that makes sounds and lights up just like the real one that Bulma had. Can even play games. Hopefully you're better at it than I am. I sit there and get 6 Dragon Balls, no problem. The 7th one just eludes me for way, way too long. We also have bundles for Marvel, for Street Fighter, and for so much more. So go to bluefinbrands.com. And since you're there, I know we've been beating this to death. We're giving away a lot of Gundam. Enter at bluefinbrands.com/contest to win one of hundreds of Gundam that we're giving away. It's going to be 2 first place winners. Both are going to get over 20 model kits, including a perfect grade RX-78 Unleashed that everyone wants and no one can find. You can win one for free. bluefinbrands.com/contest. I'll take a breath, introduce the rest of the panel. Justin and AJ, they're always with me. Those poor guys. Their court mandated service hours are almost up and they could be rid of me. Aya and Fran have joined us for a couple of the Bluefin Hangouts, so they are part of the marketing team. So Aya and Fran, welcome. Franny P. And we're very, very excited to be joined by Sean. Sean is our brand manager for Studio Ghibli as well as Shokugan. But since we'll be talking a lot of Studio Ghibli today, we thought there was no one better to talk Studio Ghibli than Sean. So, Sean, how are you doing? And, why don't you take a couple seconds to let the people know what good stuff we have from Studio Ghibli.
Oh, I'm doing well. I've got with. Actually, you can't see. I got Yakko over here. He's in the bundle right now. So a lot of bundle things. I've got the towel that's also featured in our bundle. Got the chopsticks. I'm gonna probably be taking these ones home. And some non-bundle things. I'm actually using our color changing teacup right now. So if you see me sipping, this is the No Face color changing teacup right now. I'm almost out of coffee, so unfortunately it's back to No Face. But if you put a fresh brew of coffee in there, it's going to change and No Face will disappear, and also the coal will turn into candy. So that's cool. Still in stock on Bluefin Brands. It's at 20% off right now, so get over there and enjoy your cup too.
And it's amazing. Look at the background on the graphics that I actually created versus the background of where Sean is at, and it's like perfect. It's like such great juxtaposition of those beautiful fluffy clouds that I created. So Justin, he's flashing on a couple of our sales. That's the Totoro size bundle. For only $45, you get all of those amazing items. He's also going to be flashing on some of the items currently available on bluefinbrands.com. Of course, everybody loves Totoro. How can you not love Totoro? Even Fran loves Totoro. Totoro is Fran's favorite movie. And Aya has Totoro with her. She's the only one that's got a Totoro with her right now. I'm sure Sean's got one within arm's reach. There you go.
What I want to get.
A calcifer pan? Oh, that's amazing.
Is that the coolest thing? I want that. Yeah.
Yeah, the spatula for making your pancakes and your eggs and stuff like that.
Make a nice frittata in there.
Yeah. I think that's what I like most about the Studio Ghibli products that we carry is that, I'm an action figure guy, so of course I love Tamashii Nations and everybody else, but Ghibli has such a diverse lineup of things that we sell. So I know we mentioned we were going to do this at the end, Sean, but it seems like a really good segue here. So we carry Studio Ghibli products across a number of lines. Do you want to kind of briefly explain the difference between, like our plush line versus a figure line versus, puzzles and stuff like that?
Well, we have a plush from Gund and Sunarrow. So like a call with me right now is a Sunarrow Gund plush. We have some towels and soft goods from Madoshine. So if you see any kind of towels like these, or if the blankets that we currently have on pre-order are from Madoshine as well. They're extra soft and they're straight from Japan with Japanese quality and awesome details. Like you have a little Totoro on the side, you have cat bus and everything. And then we have skater goods are usually the chopsticks and the bento boxes. So if you get one of these in your bundle, these are from Skater, and you can share them with a friend. And lastly, what do we have? Oh, I don't really have any N-Sky items, but we do have our lace bracelet that is in the set. This is an N-Sky item, but usually they are doing puzzles and craft kits. So if you have any paper theaters, that will be an N-Sky item. And that's
I love the puzzles. Puzzles are a lot of fun, and we have the art crystal puzzles to where you can put it up. It's almost like a stained glass window. It's just those are just really, really good. And again, go to bluefinbrands.com. Check out everything we have. We have items from 4 of the films, from Totoro, from Kiki's Delivery Service, from Princess Mononoke, and of course from Spirited Away. You can get all of your No Face goods, because who doesn't want to hang out with No Face? He's a cool dude. So we know Sean's the expert. So Sean, I'm assuming you have seen every Studio Ghibli film ever created by humans and aliens alike? Or are there holes in your philosophy?
There's still a couple I'm waiting for. Like, I know it's on HBO Max. I have HBO Max, but I'm waiting for that Steelbook from G-Kids, and then once that comes out, then if it's one that I haven't seen in a while, that's when I'm going to rewatch it. But there are a few that I still haven't watched, and I'm waiting for that Steelbook to come out so I can make sure I own it and then watch it.
Awesome. Now, Franny P, aside from Totoro, what is your favorite Studio Ghibli film?
I think I really enjoyed The Moving Castle. That was a cool one. And what was the other one I saw that I really liked? Well, I enjoyed Earwig and the Witch, and I know some of us have different opinions, but it was not your average Studio Ghibli movie. So it was more Disney-esque, and I really enjoyed it. And the music was awesome. Brought me back to my youth.
It was, yeah. And I would say Earwig and the Witch probably has one of my favorite opening sequences for a Ghibli film. I really liked what that set up, with little baby Earwig, and who may or may not have been her mother. We don't really know if that's her mom or not. With this big old red hair.
Who's this lady kidnapping this baby on a motorcycle?
And she's being chased by that yellow car, and the yellow car has teeth and stuff like that, and she drops her hair back and it turns into worms. So as far as really, really getting you hyped up from the beginning, I really, really liked it. So we'll talk about Earwig a little bit. Justin, you like me we're a big film guy, so we knew Studio Ghibli before we even started working here, because Princess Mononoke, when it came in the 90s, it was a huge deal that this Japanese anime was coming, and it had an A-list cast of voice actors at the time. So what's kind of your baseline for Studio Ghibli? What would you say is your favorite Studio Ghibli film?
Well, the first one I saw was Princess Mononoke, and that movie is nuts. This is so much going on. There's demons and curses and I almost said aliens, but crazy pig monsters and armies battling, and it's pretty violent just for an animated movie. I wasn't expecting it, and so that one kind of caught me off guard, especially in the first couple minutes when it's let me just chop my hand off, no big deal, I don't need this kind of thing. And so that was my first foray into Studio Ghibli, and then the next was Our Neighbor Totoro, and so I'm okay, these are 2 very different movies. And so that was just, I really liked that style of animation, though. I thought that was amazing. And what is that Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch, the sort of that same vibe. So when I picked up that game and I started playing, I'm man, where have I seen this before? And then I look at the box and I see Studio Ghibli, I'm makes sense. It just felt so familiar, and I think that's part of the reason why maybe folks aren't clinging to Earwig so much. It's just because the animation is so different than what we're used to. It's downright jarring, and so maybe new audiences might latch onto it sooner than the traditional Ghibli fan.
Yeah, absolutely. So I, being the only member of this team that's from the land of the rising sun, were you indoctrinated into Studio Ghibli at a young age, kind of like how we in the West are indoctrinated to Disney films? So did you kind of grow up on Studio Ghibli films, or did you not find it until later on in life?
Actually, I grew up with Disney movie because that's my mom's favorite. It's funny, but my mom loves United States, So from when I was kid, like my mom like show all the animation from the America, like United States. So I think like I watched the Ghibli movie after I grown up. And also the like Japanese national television play the movie like every like half a year or something. So I guess that's the first time when I watched the My Neighbor Totoro. That was the really I couldn't like get the whole concept because I was still small that time, but I was really like amazed by how cute Totoro is, and also all the creatures like a cat bass and all the like kind of explore around the forest. That thing, like I grew up in the city, so that was really amazed experience for me to see the countryside of Japan. So yeah, that's how I kind of interact with
Awesome.
Ghibli movie.
And you have a Totoro plush. You got a Totoro bedspread. You got a Totoro backpack. We've been hearing about this boyfriend, but is it really just Totoro? Is Totoro your boyfriend? There's no shame. He's cuddly. I mean, I'd cuddle with someone. Totoro, you could do worse.
Yeah, he's like I can sleep with here.
Sure. He's the big
Cat
spoon.
will get jealous though.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because we take, back when we could go to trade shows, we would take these huge Gundam statues and Godzilla statues and Goku statues, and people would take pictures of them. But it was really kind of a real like formal thing, like, oh, let me stand next to Goku and take a picture. We also had this Totoro that was about 4 feet tall, probably. We put him on this wood stump, and I remember just sitting there watching it, like Anime NYC. Is every single person who walked into it tried to like incognito like pet it. Like they all like walk by and they'd be like, just it was totally like this like unconscious thing people had to do. Like, I need to touch Totoro.
We need to get that can of disinfectant that they have at bowling alleys to just spray it down.
Like, I think even at AX, there was a person cosplaying as like a Totoro, and I felt so bad because on the back of his suit it says, "Please do not touch me or hug me." And I was like, oh man. I guess everyone wants to feel the texture of people that cosplay, and I think it's just a common thing.
You picked the wrong cosplay then. You don't want someone hugging you. You don't go as Totoro. So AJ, we got everyone else's backstory on Ghibli. What's your origin tale for Studio Ghibli?
Yeah, sure. It's similar with like how I think everyone grew up with like Disney. So growing up with Disney movies, I love them, and then I moved to Japan. Funny enough, I didn't see Ghibli movies in Japan. It was when I moved back to like 29 Palms, where I had seen like Totoro and Spirited Away for like the first time, and I thought, man, this is really good. Like, I'm really into animation, and so behold, I ended up studying animation. So just Ghibli movies in general are just fantastic in terms of their background, the hand-drawn animation style, and I think Justin has said it too. Like, I think people are a little bit jarred to the 3D and CGI concept, but I think Earwig and the Witch has some really good positive notes.
Nice. Now, Sean,
that's the big difference with. Oh, sorry, that's the big difference with the Earwig is that it is the 3D CG animation that I think this must be the first one that the studio has done this way. So it's not really. I can never say his name.
Miyazaki, Goro Miyazaki.
Miyazaki's beautiful animations that you normally get in these movies.
Well, like they show it in like the end credits, like they have this beautiful 2D credit, with like just stills and concepts. And that's actually one of my favorite parts, like the end credit. And there's that opening sequence where they use like, it's just one image of like crayon colored, still, but like there's 3D silhouettes happening behind in front of it, and I thought, this is fantastic. This is what I like.
Right.
Go back to the other part that I like. Let's do that.
Yeah, it's weird. Like what I like was the beginning and the end.
Yeah, I mean it's one of the shortest Studio Ghibli films. I think it's the third shortest Studio Ghibli film. I think it's an 82-minute runtime, and that's with the extended opening credits. That's with the end credits. So Sean, do you think that this was a very short film? Do you think it was meant to lead us to something else? Because it seems like there's more of the story to tell. Do you think we will see more of Earwig and the Witch, or is the studio typically shy away from, revisiting their films?
I think it could be possible. I remember when we spoke with Dave in the last live stream, he was saying that like Earwig is considered to the studio, it's a gift to the fans. It's kind of like to tide them over until Hayao Miyazaki's film is released. So I know the production wasn't as high as like other Studio Ghibli films. So I think it was them trying to put a film together to kind of keep everyone like entertained until the long-awaited Hayao Miyazaki film comes out. So like definitely that ending leaves it open to that kind of thing. It's like almost like
Right.
and it was a made-for-TV film, so like it played right. I think it released right before Christmas, and that ending is very Christmas-esque. And at the very end, you kind of feel like I think the message was to spend time with your family. It's like everyone was finally coming together, and then I think the reason so many fans are kind of feeling a little bit let down by this ending is like it builds you up so much, and you're like finally, and then it's like credits, and you're kind of like
Right.
no. It's like, yeah, it's
I
exactly-
actually
I want to
thought
see
like
more.
yeah, like I
Yeah.
thought the movie was just gonna pick up right from there, and then the credits started rolling. I'm like, what?
yeah, you're like, what?
Yeah.
Fooled you.
So-
Yeah, I mean, she
Fooled
has
me, yes.
Mandrake like eating out of her hand.
Uh-huh.
She when she hugs, what is her name, Bella Yaga. She's on board. She's like, oh my god, I'll never win with this kid. So they literally just give up, like kill him with kindness kind of thing, and she is gonna have like the most amazing childhood ever. So that was it sucks that the movie ended there, but at the same time, it's kind of a beautiful thing because she was up to some Dennis the Menace shenanigans for
Yeah.
60 of the 80 minutes, and
That
so
was my favorite
Mhm.
parts, though.
yeah, like when she's doing the spell with the cat, and the cat's reading off all the instructions on how to do it and everything. I thought that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, what I want to see now is just like if they can just make shorts, like when they start releasing the films, like if they make like an ultra HD version, make these little shorts almost like before Pixar films, how they have those shorts. Just make like make some Earwig shorts that show like all those extra scenes that they had all the hand-drawn stuff in the credits. Just animate those when they go to the beach and have fun at the beach. Give me like 5-minute segment of that. Give me like
Yeah.
a 5-minute segment of the
I
mom
thought
finally
that's
showing up
fantastic.
and how like
But I
Buster
wanna see
reacts to it.
What happens doesn't she like meet her mother at the end, and it's like, is this my mother? It's
The
like
band's
it's
gonna get
ready
back
for
together, Fran.
yeah, it's ready for a sequel.
Yeah, they definitely set up for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Now, Sean, do we know is Papa Miyazaki's next film, is it going to be hand drawn or is it going to be computer animated
Yeah, it's
like
definitely
the?
hand-drawn.
Okay.
I think it's currently I think it's due for 2022 release, but we'll kind of see how production's going and everything like that. But
Yeah,
the title
I'm-
is How Do You Live? It's based on like I believe 1979 book. So he's been working on this for almost like when he came out of retirement, I think 5 years ago. So it's been
man.
long awaited. He's kind of getting it done, but we'll see how long it takes him to finish it.
Yeah, I
Well,
remember
he
when
was
Disney went full.
retired, so
He was retired. I remember when Disney went full, when they went away from hand drawn to 3D animation. I think around the time of Prince and the Frog, and they decided they weren't going back. I remember there was a lot of people that were a little sad. So from an animation standpoint, do you prefer the look of the hand drawn animation? Or does the animation not really matter? You just want a good story and it to look good.
It usually
Mm,
comes down like I've seen some movies where I didn't like the animation, but the story just outweighed like any kind of criticism on the animation. I think in this film though, they weren't going for the sense of turning Miyazaki's hand-drawn style into 3D. That's kind of like what Ni no Kuni does. But in the case of this film, like it almost looks like they're made out of like they almost look like Hummels in a way. They look like kind of desk figures that you would see in Europe. So I think the style that maybe wasn't translated in this film was they're supposed to look like these kind of like European style figures. And that's why there's even a scene where Earwig in Japan, Saya, but so she says something about like, I'm not a doll. And she makes this big thing about being at the orphanage, like saying she's not a doll. But I think the animation was trying to make them look like kind of like these figurine dolls to kind of convey that message about the stylus dolls. But yeah, it's kind of I think it's just people assume they do a Miyazaki style 3D animation, but they're modeled after almost like Hummels.
Interesting.
What about you, I, as our resident animator? What are your thoughts on the hand drawn versus the 3D?
I thought it really depends on the director or the film studio what they want to do. I think Miyazaki himself tried to make the 3D a couple years ago for the short animation for the Ghibli Museum, and then I saw the documentary, and then Miyazaki was super struggle to bring his character to 3D because I think he does his long career in 2D animation, so he didn't get the right like something he was looking for in the 3D. So and then but that's because his 2D hand drawn animation is super great. Like it's the masterpiece. And then I think that Goro, his son, is focusing on more like build a team to, because I think that 3D animation is really need the teamwork. That like even the character design and then make the 3D model, that is the kind of different process. So I read the article that Goro is really good at building the team to support him, like to make the one work, instead of Miyazaki, that his father is focusing on more his own creativity by himself. So I thought that it's kind of interesting to see the like two different style compare, and then what each director can do more benefit, or the ability to focus on his own like ability for it. But yeah, I think like if the story is really important for the film, so I guess the style is, for me, it doesn't matter for me that much, as long as it tells the story and then visualize it pleasing, and then yeah, I think that it really doesn't matter for me. Yeah, but 3D, I think like it's really graphically really pleasing to watch the Aya and Earwig and Witch. So especially the effects part, I was really amazed. The hair, the David Assay, and also the magical power when the spell happened. It was super gorgeous to watch. I think that thing cannot achieve in 2D animation. So that was interesting to watch.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's all definitely in service to the story. I mean, if you take like the Disney equivalent with like Pixar, you know, they obviously are all computer images, and you know, there's a big difference between something like a Toy Story 3, which has a story that will make grown men cry, versus, you know, Cars 3.
Right. Just add a furnace and molten hot plastic, and you'll start crying.
Like, I think Aya's also right too. Is like the difference between like 2D and 3D is that in 2D you could easily just change up a frame or two with just because it's hand drawn, but in 3D you have to character rig. So like, you know, there's things where I think the Mandrake, you know, he's got like a little jacket on himself. In the character model, that might be problematic in terms of like, oh yeah, we want him to just move forward, but if the character rig's bad, you know, like his jacket could just do whatever it wants. And you know, in animation, like hand drawn 2D, it's just erase, fix it, where there's a lot more technical problems when it comes to like that CG stuff. So I appreciate everything that like like Earwig and the Witch is doing for that, especially for Studio Ghibli, not known for like, that CG kind of quality. We lost David.
Oh no!
Oh no! But yeah, I think I do like the designs. Like I think their designs for all the characters really stands back out and is still Studio Ghibli-esque. Like with, you know, Earwig's face, like it's like rounded, and then the eyes are also very similar style to just Studio Ghibli in general. And like when she makes those reactions, I think there's like a scene where she's very I think she laughs really hard, and you see that the character like has to stretch and squish animation onto it. And I thought like wow, that's technically 2D style, but they've done it in a 3D sense. I love it. And then there's like even effects where like the Mandrake kind of has like he has like the little bubbles like in his head when he gets mad or like when he's
Yeah.
shy. Yeah, like
That
I
was my
think that's
favorite.
I think those are effects that the 3D really help with it that 2D can't, really achieve that.
Right. That's to me that was like straight out of a comic book. Like seeing the
Mhm.
emotion like manifest itself in some weird like physical form. I thought that was really great. That was one of my
Yeah.
favorite things.
Yeah.
Mm.
Especially like when the room, like that towards the end, like that room changes, and I'm like, man, I would love to see that in 2D, but I actually like how it's done right now in the
Right.
CG quality. So definitely a lot of for me, it's 50-50 on I like this, I like that. So
it'll grow on you over
it
time.
grows, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
But you guys are looking at it through a different lens too. You know, you guys you're artists and you're creators. So just hearing you guys talk about it is making me think like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. Especially like with Aya with like just buildings or objects versus people and just how they're done differently. And I'm just to me it's just like just put it all on the screen and hit play and it's good to go. Easy peasy.
Yeah, like even Earwig's design, like her hair is supposed to be like the little pincers or like an earwig, and like that
Right.
didn't even hit me until like I was like, while I was watching, I'm like, oh, it really is like an earwig. Okay, I don't know why that never clicked with me.
Right, totally. Yeah. Good stuff.
Sorry,
What
I'm
do I-
back. You all blinked out. It was like it's like in like Infinity War, and like it popped. You guys went in order. It went Fran, then Aya, then AJ, then Sean, then Justin.
It's been 5 years.
Yeah. Oh, we lost him again.
Oh no.
Just
Oh, no.
shoddy internet in the tuna can. Is it-
No.
It's a tuna can. If we keep saying it, that's it. That's the name of the room now.
I like the bunker, but I'll take tuna can. Whatever, it's
I
fine.
think someone yesterday in our stream yesterday had said tuna can as well. So
There you go.
that's catching on.
Perfect. Now, what did you guys think of the music in this film? I know that a lot of times a score or a soundtrack can make or break a film, but I thought the song that plays throughout it is pretty catchy, so I was just kind of like snapping it along as it's playing. So, what about you guys? Aya, what did you think of the music?
Oh, the music was great. I thought that it's really fun, and then I love the one theme song keep playing whole movie. So and then the beginning, the baby Aya like chewing the cassette, the
Right.
music thing. It was
How
so
ironic
cute.
is that?
I was like, yeah, I know the cassette. I grew up with it. Now, most people have it, but yeah, it's really fun to to keep the same music after her mother's memory. And then I think like I wanted to see more as the like big character playing the music in the
Right.
book.
At the club
Like-
scene, at the biker bars that Fran likes to frequent.
Yes, I
Then get
do.
back together, basically.
Yeah.
I'm
The
interested in the
music
Mandrake
was
with his
awesome.
piano.
Though.
Yeah.
The music
Yeah.
reminded me of my college days, so it was fun.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about you, AJ? Were you a fan of the music?
Yeah, I actually like the music. I think the music that plays throughout the movie itself, that the band was playing, I thought that was great. Like every now and then, I'm like, what are they exactly saying? I kind of wanted to listen to the lyrics, so like I had shied away from the actual story and the overall look. But I'm like, okay, so that's what they're saying. And then sometimes, I think even towards the end, there's a different song, and I know it's playing. I think it's in Japanese. I actually didn't listen to it quite well enough, but I think it's playing in Japanese, and I thought it was like, oh, is that the Japanese version for it? But I think it's actually just a different song. But again, that one was really good too. And even throughout the movie, there are subtle music keynotes that are very Ghibli, like in terms of like it sounds whimsical. Like there's definitely those scenes where it's like they just put that little note and song right in here, and I'm like, cool. Like I feel like I'm back into a Ghibli movie, and I think that's really important for the film.
Sure. So in the movie, Earwig is sitting on her bed and she's just listening to the song over and over and over and over again. Sean, when you were a kid, was there a song that just stuck out that you just had to listen to on repeat over and over and over again while you're rocking out in your room?
Unfortunately, I wasn't too big into music until like high school, college. So I wasn't like an earwig where I found the song and was rocking out to that, unfortunately.
Oh my gosh, I was so into music when I was young. I had those huge speakers in my bedroom, and I remember one time I was blasting it so loud that the doorbell fell off the wall. But of course, I was a child of the 70s and 80s, so, we had to blast our music.
Sure.
Fair
Plus,
enough.
being a band geek, I played, the jazz sax and clarinet and flute. So,
There it is,
Oh,
that
man.
sax again.
You carried
yeah,
them all on you at all times in case you needed to join a band, right?
Mhm.
that's right.
Your
Still
coat hat
have
was
them.
lined with instruments. You're like, what am I playing today?
Emergency
He's a
sax
rumble
man.
with a rival band.
Hey, I played
Yeah.
the lead. I was lead tenor in the jazz band.
That's awesome.
I can
Yeah,
only
it
provide
was
you with the
fun.
snaps, friend. So if you need one of those like snaps,
That's right. I played the drums, but it was a lot of fun. And then once marching band became a thing, then I was like, I think I'm good. I can't walk and drum at the same time. I can sit and drum, but I can't walk.
you're our Bella Yaga.
Yeah. I'm like, I'll just tap my foot to my own beat here.
Yeah.
What about you, Dave? Did you rock out to any particular bands like
Yeah.
Earwig was?
Of course, there were two, the very first two cassettes I ever owned. And yes, I'm dating myself by saying I had cassettes. The very first cassette I ever bought with my own money was DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince's
Oh,
Parents
man.
Just Don't Understand, with the B-side being Nightmare on My Street. And I would listen to that nonstop. And the other one was Bust a Move by Young MC. And I learned yesterday, I was this many years old yesterday when I learned that Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers is the person playing the bass on that song. So the more you know type thing. So
Oh,
I
more
was,
you know.
I was an interesting kid.
You
But
were.
I had one of those
My
like yellow
first-
Walkman.
My first record was, we used to buy records and albums and 45s that were like 30 cents back then. And my first one was Sugar Sugar by the Archies.
Oh, wow.
And I still have it.
Nice.
And I have all my Beatles Apple records and albums. So I wonder if they're worth anything now.
They are. It's just your sleeve has to look pretty gosh darn good. That's the problem.
Yeah,
Those-
they're pretty
those
good.
sleeves
They're
get beat
all
up.
in
Oh,
all of
man.
my albums are in my my locker there, my where I
Storage.
have all of my junk in storage. Yeah.
Sure.
So, and
Justin
of
puts
course,
this on the wall.
Sure.
Donny Osmond. We had Donny Osmond and the Partridge Family albums.
Perfect. That crate that's just kind of by my shoulder right there. That one has a bunch of Beatles albums in it too.
Oh,
man.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Beatles were my favorite. I grew up with them. I'm like the youngest child in the family, one of the youngest. And so all of my cousins are like 20 years older than me. So my little cousin and I used to steal their albums and play them, and we'd get in so much trouble for scratching them.
Did your parents find the Beatles music to be offensive, loud rock and roll music? And
No, actually, they liked it. But my parents grew up, with big band music. So I was into that too, because we always listened to like Glenn Miller and stuff like that from their era. But they also were into like Tijuana Brass and stuff like that.
sure.
So the Beatles, they like the Beatles,
The
even
Beatles
though
are on
they're
like a whole different level. Because I remember we saw right before COVID shut everything down. My wife and I went and saw Paul McCartney at Dodger Stadium, and it was this big thing. And I've been to a million concerts, but like there was like an aura when Paul McCartney like took the stage. You're like, that guy was a Beatle. He was in the Beatles, and even when he was playing, he knew it. He was like, you know what? I don't normally play this song because doesn't get people dancing in their chairs, but I'm Paul McCartney. I want to play what I want to play, and he's started just going off this random tangent of playing these other songs and stuff like that. So I can appreciate the Beatles, and it's amazing how like what your parents listen to kind of cultivates what you listen to as a kid. So like for example, like my wife's parents, they were big into like the Doors and like classic rock and stuff like that. And so my wife, her musical taste, when she was growing up, and even to this day, she likes the Eagles and the Doors and things like that. To where my mom was a big fan of Barry Manilow and the Dirty Dancing soundtrack, and so I think like Manilow and like like Wayne Newton, like all these like Lounge Lizard
Oh
type
my
singers,
God.
and Neil Diamond and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I've seen all of them in concert, and like I remember I had to like basically drag my wife there, and I'm sitting there screaming like "Sweet Caroline." And my wife's like,
Oh,
who are
my
you?
God.
Totally.
I think
can.
I was more into your wife's music.
Totally. I sadly I know every Neil Diamond song ever because of my mother. She was crazy in love with him, and probably would have left my father in a heartbeat if she could have been a roadie or a groupie with Neil Diamond.
With you, Neil Diamond.
Yeah, totally. My dad's rocking out
funny.
the Cheech and Chong albums, and my mom's rocking out to Neil Diamond.
What does that do for your kids now that you obviously you and your wife are now two different types of music, so now your kids now have to listen to both versions, and they are now the fusion of your interests.
Right.
Right. So I think it's different for kids now because like when all of us were kids, Sean and I, you guys are younger and AJ younger, so maybe it's not the same for you. But when Justin, Fran, and I were kids, your parents chose what they were watching on television, and you watched what they were watching. There was none of this like, I want to watch my shows, Dad. It was no, this is family's watching this. You can watch this or read a book in your room. We didn't have iPads and stuff like that.
Right.
So now, if your kids don't want to listen to what we're listening to, they got
Except
phones
we
and
did
iPads.
have 2 TVs in the house
Whoa.
because we sat in the other room, my mom and my sister and I, and watched the Brady Bunch and those shows while Dad watched all the Westerns. And he still watches
still
all the
does.
Westerns.
Yeah. Still watching his Gunsmoke with his
Yep.
Miss Kitty or whatever.
He
The
loves
Rifleman.
Gunsmoke.
Bonanza in color.
Yeah.
We were more into the Partridge Family and Brady Bunch, all those fun shows of my youth.
We were a I Love Lucy household, and we would guess
Oh, yeah,
which
I like
episode
that
it was in the first like 30 seconds. It was crazy.
Yeah. Oh, this is the one with blah blah blah. This
Yeah.
is the one where they go to Babalu.
That's a skill.
yeah. They go to Babalu, Dave.
This is the one with Groucho Marx.
Yeah, with the mirror episode.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I like the later season when they because there was a time where I was really big in like old Hollywood, so I really liked like the later I Love Lucy episodes when they moved to the West Coast and they moved to like a Hollywood area, and you'd get all those like great stars and stuff like that. I remember the one where like Lucy and Ethel went and they stole the handprints from John Wayne.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Like with the stunt casting, and that's something that actually still happens today, right? So, I mean, how cool is it when any sort of celebrity ended up on Game of Thrones, or now with The Mandalorian, seeing all these fun cameos that people are getting, and that's something that started so long ago. Now you're talking about a show that was airing in the 50s, and it was a big deal when someone made an appearance. Like, oh my God, this is so real. This is happening, and it's transitioned now. Whatever, 70 years later, it's still a thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's transitioned from like that was the era of movie stars. Like John Wayne could guarantee you a successful movie just on his name alone. To where now the properties, like just mentioned Game of Thrones. These celebrities are fans of the property, so they seek out and want to be part of it. Like Harry Styles was, on an episode of Game of Thrones, and it was just because he loved the show.
Right. Totally. And then like Star Wars, like people are like, let me just be a stormtrooper. No one even has to know that I'm in it. I just want to be in it. It's kind of crazy how that works. So like with voice acting, that would be cool too, right? Where all of a sudden you get to be like King of the Hill, right? Everyone knows that's my favorite show ever. To be a voice on a show like King of the Hill would be a dream come true for me. And so I'm sure that there's any one of the millions of animes that we deal with on a daily basis, that everyone has they're all fans, so they would love to be a voice in the new Evangelion movie or something like that. And that's really cool. I love that that's something that's possible.
And I think even this movie had that kind of little tease with it too, because I think there was a Howl's Moving Castle reference. They were watching it, and then I think there was something else, and I was like, oh wow, they've shown other Ghibli things, and I thought that was very very cool of them to do. Yeah, it was very meta.
Yeah, from a voice actor point of view, Ghibli seems to really be ahead of the game. Like, nowadays, if Disney opens a movie, it's got to have A-list talent. They kind of started that with Aladdin with Robin Williams, but Ghibli was always bringing over A-list talent to dub their films. In America, like Justin and I's first Ghibli film was Princess Mononoke, and it was big news because Gillian Anderson from the X-Files was going to be one of the voice actors, and they brought it over there. And now it's commonplace for big stars to be the voice actors. Ghibli was doing it way back when they were localizing the Japanese content in America. So just another way that Ghibli's just ahead of the game.
Yeah.
The more you know.
It's kind of same in Japanese version too. The Ghibli is always been the famous actor for the voice. So I guess that's their style, the studio style, to bring the actor for the movie.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I can't even recognize if it's like a famous person when it comes to any of these like animated movies or even like anime in general. Like if it's just someone's voice, I'm like, that sounds cool, and then like I'll find out that was like so and so. No way. So like I have to play it back, and I'm like, it really is them. Oh wow.
Dude, it can like ruin my experience. As soon as I hear a voice, I'm like, who is that? And I'm sitting there. I'm not even watching the movie anymore. I'm like
Yeah.
digging into my mind palace to try and figure out who the voice is for that character in it. I need to stop doing that. Or just check the list of names before I start watching it.
Yeah, that's why I always
Because you
sit in
can
like the
talk.
credits. Yeah. That's what the credits are for, and I should probably just sit and wait for the credits to roll. I'm like, I see, but instead here I am also in the movies. I gotta figure out who it is. And like I pop open my phone. All right, it's who I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun game you play with yourself. You just
Yeah.
rack in your brain, like Judge said. You have no idea what's going on the screen at that point. You're like, I know this actor. Okay, what was he in? Who's in? And then like if you have someone with you, like significant other or something, like why do I know this voice? And to see if they can just help you piece together like the mystery.
Right. Meanwhile, you find out that they were someone that murdered somebody on episode 500 of Law and Order SVU or something like that, and you're like, oh, that's not who I thought it was.
Yeah, then you go through the credits, like, oh yeah, he's from How I Met Your Mother. Oh, from episode like 415. Never mind.
Right. This is something.
You played Guy Who Hails Cab.
Yeah. Oh, that's good stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Studio Ghibli has had kind of a resurgence, with its introduction to HBO Max, and so Fran, since Ghibli's gone to HBO Max, I know you own some of the films on physical media. Have you taken the opportunity to rewatch some Studio Ghibli films or to watch some you hadn't seen before because they're still available on HBO Max?
Yes, because nowadays to watch a CD, you have to first of all find a device that has a CD. So you have to. I was watching them on laptops, so it was nice to put it on my TV and run it through my surround sound speakers and get that more effect of being in the theater. And I did go to a couple of the screenings they had here. Remember, we were G Kids was sponsoring the movie theater.
He has like a movie a month
so,
type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I went to a couple of those. That's where I originally saw Totoro and Spirited Away. So those are good.
Nice.
We need to get back to that one day.
One day.
Yeah, I don't think anything will ever replace like the majestic nature of the theatrical experience. But it was nice that I watched Earwig for this live stream, so I watched it over 2 sittings, and I was able to watch it on an iPad. I was able to watch it on my phone. Like I could just literally pull something out of my pocket and watch a new film, and that is great. And I hope it returns back to normalcy where we go to movie theaters. But you can't beat the convenience of the app. And Sean, have you noticed what was the first thing you watched on HBO Max for Studio Ghibli? Like you're like, okay, I can watch Studio Ghibli whenever I want. I'm gonna watch this. What was that first film?
It was
Earwig and the
actually
Witch?
Earwig and the Witch. I have most of the films on Blu-ray, so like I watched Earwig, but recently though I watched The Castle in the Sky again. So that was one of the ones I checked out, and like I forgot there was like an entire scene where they're being chased by the like pirates, and one of the pirates is like showing off his muscles, and then someone like I think it's the baker or something. He like shows up and like flexes, and it's just like bam, and his shirt just like comes off. And I forgot
That's a skill.
That's Fran's kind of movie.
There you go.
Fran's
there's that level of comedy in there where it's like we're being chased on. It's like kind of like in trouble and everything, and then like some guy just comes out and he's just like, I'm gonna beat that other guy because I have bigger muscles and I can rip my shirt out just by flexing.
Talent.
Huh.
Yeah.
So.
It's interesting you said because you had the Blu-rays. so you watch something different. I can't tell you how many times where just because of the matter of convenience, even if it's on TV with commercials, I'm like, yeah, I'll watch it, even though I own it and I don't want to just get up and put it on.
Yeah.
I'm lazy.
As you can see the DVD from like your couch, you're like,
DVDs are ready in the player. You have the remote ready in your hand, but it's right now in front of your eyes.
Yep.
Yeah, just stick and watch it. Yeah.
Man.
now, Aya, what would you recommend? Like, someone has never seen any Studio Ghibli film, they're brand new. They've heard of this the Studio Ghibli thing on their HBO Max. What would you recommend as a starter film for them? Something like something to really get them in love with the franchise, with the studio.
I think maybe Totoro might be the best. I guess for me, it was my first Ghibli movie, and then it was really easy to hop on. The cute character, and then story is really great about the family, and I thought the Totoro is really nice to start. I guess some people started from Mononoke. But as Justin said, it's pretty heavy. So, I recommend My Neighbor Totoro. And then there's so many products of pressure and stuff, so it's more feel comfortable to, maybe anybody know this shape film before, so
It is a shape I can
Yeah.
recognize through a silhouette.
Yeah.
Finally, a character I can cosplay as.
I know, right?
I mean, he is the logo for the franchise. So, I mean, he's definitely, he's one of their iconic characters. What about you, AJ? What would you recommend as kind of like a jumping off point for Studio Ghibli for people?
So thinking about that right now, like I think Totoro is a good choice too. I think also Kiki, just because it feels familiar in the sense of like, you get simple like she's a witch, you got she has a job of a baker, so these are more realistic in terms of like, okay, I can relate. And Totoro, again, it's pretty linear. So yeah, like I said, I think you can just hop on and watch Totoro and you'll feel comfortable with it versus like, as much as I love Howl's Moving Castle, there is some complexity to that where you have to understand how like the door works or, what's another one? Like, again, like Mononoke is heavy in terms of like storytelling. And then I guess like Ponyo's sort of pretty easy to get into as well, since I think did Disney help with that one as well? Okay, because like I think those are also some of the simple ones. I think to me the story is definitely key, but if it's for people who aren't so sure on these types of films, simple story works. So Totoro, Ponyo, and Kiki's Delivery Service, I think, are all pretty good to start with.
Yeah, I couldn't get into what is it, Poco Roco or whatever, the one with about the pig. That one was very strange. I just couldn't get through the whole movie on that one.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of stories that are like that. Like even like Spirited Away, even though it's award winning, like there's a lot of complex stuff that's happening behind it. Like go through the tunnel and then now you're in like a different world and then all this. I mean, for some people that works for them. And for some it doesn't. So I think it's definitely just your cup of tea and you should just try all the Ghibli movies.
Yeah. I really liked Kiki though. I forgot about that one. That was a cute one.
Yeah.
She's a good heroine. And that's how I like Earwig. I think she's a spunky little girl who, is a good role model for girls nowadays, to really be yourself and I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I liked her character. She wasn't afraid of the witch or anything, Yeah,
like Studio Ghibli has really strong women characters.
Yes.
Like Kiki, Totoro. Again, now we have Earwig and the Witch, and even like Howl's Moving Castle all have like really strong female characters. And I think that's what I really love about the Studio Ghibli films. That nowadays, like we're at the point where films are trying to push that onto things, but Studio Ghibli has already been doing that from the get-go.
Right. You just now realizing there's 51% of the population.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, great. We're at that time, so I just wanted to thank everyone on the panel for coming. Just so everyone watching knows, 100% of the marketing team is on this call, so no marketing is being done at Bluefin Brands right now of this live stream. So that is fantastic. I always love chatting with Aya and Fran when they come to join us. And so thank you two very much for joining us today. John,
Thanks
always
for
a pleasure
having us.
talking.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Always a fan. Always love talking Studio Ghibli with you. And yeah, Justin, AJ, you guys are
Yeah,
always here.
we get it.
Yeah, you got it. So just to remind everyone to go to bluefinbrands.com. We are having our Spring Into Savings sale that will run through this weekend. It will end Sunday, so make sure that you hop on. If there's something you want, make sure that you get it now. A lot of the items are going fast. We have sold out of some items. We've been able to replan some of them, but we have a couple here. The Titanus, the Solar Chogogan, this monstrous beast is half off at bluefinbrands.com. If you are a Power Ranger fan, this is a must-have. If you have the Zords, this transforms with the Zords, and you can kind of combine them. It is a great deal. It's the lowest price you're probably ever going to find on it at bluefinbrands.com. We also have a number of bundles. We talked about the Dragon Ball one, but we have some for Marvel, for Street Fighter, for Case Closed. We have a nice body bundle that has some of the blank SH figure arts. Also have plenty of Studio Ghibli. All in-stock Studio Ghibli items are 20% off right now. The discount's taken at checkout, so don't be scared. But buy all of them. You can't have too many plushes. Aya's got plenty. And then a couple other things. We have the Meisho line. We have Star Wars and Marvel Meisho figures on the site at bluefinbrands.com. Flame toys. We got the Bug Bite. We got the Clear Optimus Prime, which was the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive this year. All at bluefinbrands.com. Make sure to enter the contest, bluefinbrands.com/contest. Win a ton of Gundam model kits. And make sure to follow at Bluefin Brands across all the social platforms. And follow at Studio Ghibli US across all platforms. Or I take that back. What is the new handle, Sean? It's Ghibli-Bluefin?
Ghibli_Bluefin, I believe.
There you go. Follow at Studio_Bluefin. I'm sure we will retweet those from at Bluefin Brands, so you can find it there as well. So thanks everyone for joining our live streams this week. We had a blast. Welcome you all into the lair. We're still waiting for the name. Tuna Can, Bunker, Lair. Those are names that some of the fans have thrown around. If you got a better one, let us know. And we will join you next Friday for the next Bluefin Hangout. And it'll probably be talking about something else on HBO Max. Maybe a little Zack Snyder film that is on there. Keep it relatively spoiler-free, but make sure to join us next Friday at Bluefin Brands. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic weekend, and go buy all this good stuff.
Yeah.
Bye.
See you later. Thank you.